For a few brief years, Balenciaga was the only label that mattered, its name synonymous with virality, outrage, and algorithm-breaking design. From a 1917 Spanish atelier to memes engineered for profit, Balenciaga rewrote luxury by trading sincerity for shock, capturing a generation raised on screens. But after fashion moved on and the world became numb to provocation, the brand now faces a perilous question. In an industry obsessed with authenticity, can you ever regain meaning after treating it like a punchline? To understand where Balenciaga goes next, we first have to see how a house built on heritage became the high temple of the algorithmic era. Cristobal Balenciaga opened his first atelier in San Sebastian, Spain in 1917. From the start, his work stood apart for its precision and quiet discipline, attracting the Spanish aristocracy and soon the attention of the broader European elite. Forced by the Spanish Civil War to leave his homeland, Balenciaga established his Paris couture house on Avenue George V in 1937. In the city's fiercely competitive fashion world, he became known as the master of us all, a phrase spoken by Christian Dior himself. Throughout the 1950s, Balenciaga's studio became a laboratory for silhouette and construction. He introduced the sack dress in 1957, a radical departure from the cinched waists dominating post-war fashion. With innovations like the cocoon coat and the balloon jacket, he rejected ornament for shape, letting fabric and cut do the work of decoration. Balenciaga's approach was deeply technical. He often designed without sketches, working directly on the mannequin, sculpting fabric until it achieved the right balance and movement. His house closed in 1968, but the legacy of that era, meticulous craft, architectural lines, and a devotion to form, remained the foundation for everything that would follow. By 2016, a new chapter in fashion had begun, one not defined by atelier walls or front-row critics, but by the logic of the algorithmic era. Influence was measured less by heritage and more by the speed at which an image could be shared, dissected, and transformed into a meme. Balenciaga became the defining brand of what many now call the algorithmic era, a period stretching from 2016 to 2022. In those years, the rules of luxury were rewritten by the demands of digital culture. The question at the heart of this transformation is deceptively simple. What happens when a fashion house builds its power not on tradition, but on its ability to dominate the feed? As the story unfolds, consider how virality became not just a byproduct, but the business model itself. If you are interested in how brands rise and fall in the age of algorithms, and you want more deep dives into the economics and culture of luxury fashion, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Your support helps us keep exploring the forces shaping the industry from the inside out. When Demna Gvasalia took creative control at Balenciaga, he dismantled every expectation of what luxury should look like. The house, once synonymous with architectural elegance, now became the engine of a new aesthetic, anti-luxury. In 2017, the Triple S sneaker landed on the runway, a hulking, multi-layered trainer that seemed to mock the idea of refinement. Its exaggerated sole, clashing colors, and deliberate heaviness made it instantly divisive. For some, it was an eyesore. For others, it was a status symbol. Either way, it was impossible to ignore. The Triple S was not an accident. It was engineered for attention, built to dominate social media feeds and fuel endless debate. Within months, it became one of the most talked about shoes in fashion, sparking a wave of copycats and knockoffs. Resale prices soared, and the sneaker's notoriety deepened as memes spread across Instagram and Twitter. The uglier it was called, the more powerful its cultural pull became. Balenciaga's product strategy leaned into this logic. Everyday objects were reimagined as luxury provocations. A calfskin tote nearly identical to an IKEA shopping bag, a $1,790 accessory shaped like a trash bag, platform Crocs, and a puffer jacket so oversized it bordered on cartoonish. These items were not just products, they were content, designed for screenshots, hot takes, and viral moments. The more absurd the item, the more coverage it received. Outrage and ridicule were not risks. They were part of the plan. Runways became performance art, with models trudging through mud or striding in head-to-toe latex. The clothes themselves sometimes felt secondary to the spectacle. Each season, the conversation was less about tailoring or fabric and more about what Balenciaga had dared to do next. By 2018, the brand's sales had doubled, with the Triple S sneaker and its meme-worthy siblings driving a surge in revenue and relevance. In this ecosystem, ugliness was not a flaw. It was the marketing. Demna had turned provocation into a business model, and the world could not stop watching. If you enjoy deep dives into luxury brands, fashion economics, and cultural shifts, please like the video and subscribe. Your support helps us keep making long-form analysis and thoughtful breakdowns, not just noise. Balenciaga's business model in the late 2010s was built on a simple equation: spectacle equals sales. The house did not just design clothing, it engineered moments meant to be captured, shared, and dissected online. Runway shows were staged for maximum screenshot value, with each season calculated to produce a handful of viral images. Models walked through mud, carried oversized accessories, or wore garments that seemed to parody the very idea of luxury. What mattered was not the fit or the finish, but the instant recognizability of a look in a feed crowded with noise. Products followed the same logic. The $1,790 trash bag, the Triple S sneaker, and the platform Crocs were not just fashion statements, they were content optimized for the algorithm. Each item was a provocation designed to spark debate, memes, and endless reposts. Outrage, confusion, and laughter all drove the same result: more attention, more engagement, and ultimately, more demand. The more people talked, the more they wanted to own a piece of the conversation. This strategy was not accidental. Balenciaga's teams tracked the velocity of social media spikes, coordinated feed wipes and teaser campaigns, and seeded products with celebrities whose every move was reported and remixed. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West became unofficial ambassadors, amplifying the brand's reach far beyond traditional fashion circles. In July 2021, a single Instagram reset and couture announcement brought in nearly 1 million new followers in 1 month. TikTok collaborations, like the Erhan grocery drop, generated billions of views. Even negative press, such as the 2022 campaign Backlash, often resulted in net follower gains and spikes in earned media value. The commercial payoff was dramatic. Balenciaga's revenue climbed from around $390 million in 2015 to nearly $2 billion by 2023. The Triple S sneaker alone drove a 100% year-over-year sales jump in early 2018. Meme-friendly accessories routinely sold out, and resale platforms like StockX saw surges in demand for the most divisive designs. Virality was not a side effect. It was the engine. By turning every product launch and runway into a digital event, Balenciaga rewrote the rules of luxury retail, proving that in the algorithmic era, spectacle could be monetized at scale. By late 2022, the logic that had powered Balenciaga's rise began to falter. Audiences, once eager for the next viral stunt, found themselves numb to the steady drip of provocation. The cycle of shock, meme, and debate had become background noise, so familiar that even the most outlandish products struggled to hold attention for more than a few days. Algorithms, which once rewarded controversy with reach, shifted toward promoting what platforms called authentic engagement, quietly deprioritizing outrage and spectacle. Then, in November 2022, a holiday campaign crossed a line. Images featuring children with bondage, inspired teddy bears, and legal documents referencing child protection laws ignited a wave of anger that moved far beyond fashion insiders. Within days, the story dominated social media, gathering hundreds of millions of views under the hashtag #CancelBalenciaga. The brand lost over 100,000 Instagram followers within a week. The list index, which had ranked Balenciaga #1 for much of 2021, dropped the house to 11th place by the end of the quarter and then to 18th in early 2023. Parent company Kering reported a 4% dip in sales, a rare reversal after years of steady growth. Attempts to contain the fallout, public apologies, blame placed on external collaborators, and donations to children's charities did little to stem the sense that something fundamental had broken. For many, the backlash was not just about one campaign, but about exhaustion. Years of escalating irony had raised the bar so high that only genuine outrage could cut through. When the cycle finally snapped, it revealed a limit to how much provocation audiences would accept, and how quickly the mood could swing from complicity to rejection. Balenciaga's engine of attention had run out of road. Attention drifted quickly from spectacle to subtlety. While Balenciaga's viral products lingered on resale platforms, their premiums faded. The Triple S sneaker, once a status symbol, struggled to command even a fraction of its original markup by 2024. Meanwhile, brands that had quietly invested in craft and restraint began to set the tone for what luxury meant. The Row, founded by Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, became shorthand for invisible wealth, cashmere coats, clean lines, and the kind of tailoring that whispers instead of shouts. Bottega Veneta, especially under Daniel Lee, built its reputation on woven leather and a refusal to use logos. Hermes, with its hand-stitched bags and decades-long wait lists, became a North Star for authenticity. Brunello Cucinelli drew praise for its ethical sourcing and focus on human dignity, attracting clients who valued the story behind each garment as much as the object itself. If you enjoy deep dives into luxury brands, fashion economics, and cultural shifts, please like this video and subscribe. Your support helps us keep producing long-form analysis that favors depth over short-form engagement. Editorial voices shifted with the market. Fashion magazines and critics, once eager to dissect the next viral stunt, turned their attention to the nuances of construction, fabric, and provenance. Resale platforms like The Real Real and StockX reflected this change, and classic handbags and understated tailoring began to outperform meme-driven pieces. The winners of this new era were brands that made luxury feel personal, tactile, and sincere. Quiet luxury became not just a trend, but a new value system, one that rewarded patience, expertise, and the kind of meaning that cannot be engineered for the algorithm. In this climate, the logic of provocation lost its commercial edge, and the industry's attention migrated toward houses that promised more than just a headline. On July 10, 2025, Balenciaga named Pierpaolo Piccioli as its new creative director. For nearly 2 decades at Valentino, Piccioli built his reputation on a philosophy that stood in stark contrast to the logic of virality. Where his predecessor engineered spectacle, Piccioli placed his faith in romance and craftsmanship. Garments constructed for intimacy, not headlines. His collections were known for their poetic draping, hand-finished details, and a belief that fashion could be a vehicle for emotion rather than irony. The appointment signaled a deliberate experiment. Could a house that taught its audience to expect provocation now ask them to believe in sincerity? Piccioli's vision rests on 3 pillars. First, a return to technical mastery, echoing the precision that defined Cristobal Balenciaga's original atelier. Second, a willingness to embrace vulnerability, collections that speak in gestures of care rather than shock. And third, a focus on human connection, both in the making of the clothes and in the stories they tell. But the risks are immediate and profound. The first is alienation. The viral audience that flocked to Balenciaga for its meme-friendly provocations may find little to recognize in a world of soft tailoring and hand embroidery. The second is confusion. After a decade of irony, any pivot to sincerity risks being read as a marketing tactic, not a genuine change of heart. And finally, there is the danger of meaninglessness, of sincerity falling flat when the brand's own history has trained consumers to see every gesture as a potential joke. Piccoli's challenge is not just to design beautiful clothes. He must convince a skeptical public that meaning can still be made from a brand that once treated meaning as disposable. For Balenciaga, the test is whether a house built for the feed can learn to speak in a quieter, more lasting voice. Brands that built their fortunes on irony often find themselves stranded when the mood changes. Vetements, once the darling of streetwear provocateurs, faded into the background as soon as its formula was copied and its shock value dulled. The same cycle can be traced through other disruptors: a meteoric rise, a period of dominance, and then a slow drift into irrelevance when the cultural winds shift. Balenciaga now stands at this same crossroads, attempting something few have managed: moving from meme to meaning. The test is not just aesthetic, it is measurable. 3 signals offer the clearest read on whether a brand is truly moving on or simply stalling in place. First, sales, not just of new releases, but of legacy products on the secondary market. The Triple S sneaker, once a resale powerhouse, now fetches a fraction of its 2018 peak. Quiet luxury staples, by contrast, hold or even gain value over time. Second, editorial attention. In the age of algorithmic dominance, Balenciaga's every move was dissected by fashion media. Today, the coverage is more cautious, waiting to see if sincerity will register as more than a campaign slogan. Third, consumer sentiment, measured not just in likes or follows, but in sustained engagement and willingness to invest in a new identity. Social spikes may still occur, but the real question is whether a new audience will form around the promise of craft and connection, or if the old one will quietly slip away. If you are enjoying this deep dive into luxury brands, fashion economics, and cultural shifts, please like this video and subscribe. That simple gesture helps support more long-form analysis. No brand has fully reversed the meme effect once it takes hold. Attempts to pivot to authenticity after years of calculated irony often struggle for traction. The risk is not just confusion, but a kind of cultural whiplash, consumers unsure if meaning is real or just another layer of the joke. For Balenciaga, the future is an open question. Will Piccoli's vision restore a sense of purpose, or will the brand become a case study in the limits of reinvention? Is Balenciaga entering a renaissance, a quiet decline, or a prolonged identity limbo? Was its era a necessary phase in fashion history, or a warning about what happens when attention replaces vision? Leave a comment with your take on whether Balenciaga can regain cultural relevance. And subscribe to follow future breakdowns of luxury brands, fashion power shifts, and industry reinventions. Today, Balenciaga stands at a crossroads. Its next move is being watched by an industry recalibrating around authenticity over spectacle. As luxury buyers now favor craftsmanship and meaning, brands built on irony face a reckoning, reinvention, or irrelevance. What happens when shock no longer sells, but sincerity cannot be engineered? In a culture obsessed with the new, credibility is the rarest commodity. Can Balenciaga regain real meaning? Tell us your take in the comments below, and subscribe for more long-form analysis of luxury brands, fashion economics, and cultural shifts.